I'm here on stakeout outside the federal courthouse in Newark, New Jersey, where, if you believe a headline in the New York Observer from Tuesday, former Port Authority Chairman David Samson will soon step inside and plead guilty to a felony related to his time at the Bi-State Agency. Now, this particular felony that Samson is allegedly going to plead to is not related to the BridgeGate scandal per se, but connected to what was called the Chairman's Flight, a twice-a-week route flown by United Airlines from Newark to, conveniently, 50 miles outside Samson's vacation home in Aiken, South Carolina, the Columbia Airport. It was referred to as the Chairman's Flight, and it was hardly ever half full. Now, prosecutors have been investigating the Port Authority, Samson, and others connected to the BridgeGate scandal for almost 3 years now. But finally, it looks like the saga might be ending its somewhat never-ending climax. Now, David Samson, he's a 76-year-old man who's been involved in the ins and outs of New Jersey politics for decades. Take a look at his resume. 88 to 1990, General Counsel of the Turnpike Authority. James McGreevy's Attorney General from 2002 to 2003, top law enforcement official in the state. Headed up Christie's transition team when he was elected governor, appointed by the governor to the Port Authority as chairman in 2011 until he resigned in March 2014 at the peak of some of the fallout of the BridgeGate scandal, formed the very influential state law firm Wolf and Samson, and he was head of that until he resigned in April 2015, citing health reasons. We don't know how serious Samson's health problems are, but he's dropped out of sight until perhaps he comes to New Jersey and allocutes inside this courtroom. But the New York Observer report said that Samson will not be naming names and will not be cooperating with the feds. Obviously, we know that we've got two people who are going to be placed on trial here in September, Bridget Ann Kelly and former Port Authority Deputy Executive Director Bill Baroni. That's directly connected to the closings of the lanes on the George Washington Bridge in September 2013. But this is part of the fallout. The big investigations that rocked the Port Authority led to an erosion of confidence and found all different sort of worms hiding under rocks. But you know, Bill, this whole saga of BridgeGate seems like it can't get any stranger by the day. Here's a tidbit for you. I want to know what you think about this. Obviously, we all know Christie is under consideration by Donald Trump to be the Republican presidential nominee's running mate. Is it interesting that in the heat of this vice presidential selection process this week and into this week, an article that some would say puts Christie in a negative light appears in a publication owned by Trump's son-in-law?
It's coincidental. I don't know that it's on purpose.
But this is the best news Governor Christie could have hoped for, to just kind of tie it with a nice bow. Yeah. He doesn't have to worry about David Samson singing like a canary.
It's also assuming that Samson, let's assume that the story is true and Samson is going to take a guilty plea. Maybe there's a price to be paid for that. I can't see him rolling over on the governor under any circumstances, but who knew what they had on him?
Hopefully, Alex, this opens up this can of worms and we start talking about, really digging into the Port Authority. What a bunch of, the corruption, the garbage, the waste, it's disgusting. That's what ought to make people mad.